Coach Brock, what do you see from the LSU offense?
Not that this is going to be any surprise, but a lot of talent, right? A lot of speed. I mean, the receivers obviously take the roof off. Every one of them really can. Tight end's a good player. Running backs are obviously run really hard, tough to tackle in space. They got a great offensive line, and then obviously the quarterback and what he can do is just a continuation of what we saw the other night. You know, in terms of his ability to escape the pocket, and extend plays, and hurt you with his feet and his arm. And so, I mean, it's a great challenge, obviously.
Football's kind of a funny game. You go out and you force 5 turnovers and still need to make a stop on the final play of the game. I mean, what kind of teachable moment was that for you with your guys?
Yeah, I think it's this. Number one, I was proud. I told them this. I was very proud that they played a 60-minute game and actually longer than that, right? And we preached that all week. So I told them that. Number one. Number two is, you know, when you have an opponent down, you have to have a killer instinct. I mean, you cannot allow at this level, any level of football, really, you can't allow them to get momentum going. Momentum is I think a huge part of college football. And so to me, the learning lesson has to be, hey, good job, we made some plays, we finished the game, but you get in that situation, you got to put your foot in the people, you know, and finish it. And so I think those are the teachable points we want to make.
Zach said that Sean Preston probably played his best game, you know, in Mississippi State career. Obviously, been a guy we've asked you about throughout fall camp. What have you just liked about how he's handled sort of the starting role these first 2 weeks and going forward with him?
I was proud of Sean. I told him this. I grabbed him right before the game. I said, hey, this needs to be Kentucky 21. I don't know if you remember the post he intercepted in Kentucky here 2 years ago. I said, this needs to be that kind of game for you. And sure enough, I mean, just funny how it worked out, but he played extremely well. You know, I mean, that play, obviously he has the post player, he takes it away. But that play, that was the 19th play of that drive where he forces that fumble, you know, and that's a great form tackle, physical, violent, ball comes out. I mean, man, I'm very proud of him for what he did. And we're going to need him to continue to do that, you know, and so that's what I've challenged him. I walked in this afternoon at the team meeting, said, don't be a flash in the pan, you know, it's got to be every week. So.
Follow up on that, you know, he has that big hit. I think Marcus was the one who came in and got the hit there at the end.
Yes.
What do you think of just the physicality of your safeties and some of the hits that they've had this year?
I was proud of our defensive physicality overall. You know, I really was. I mean, Hunter Washington has the one on the check down. It's really good. Speedy had the one. You know, there's some effort plays. Buki runs down kind of a buck sweep on their sideline and lays out, makes a play. Pickering had one on it was a screen, you know. So I thought we challenged them after game one of when you know, there was the play in game one on their sideline. I don't know if you guys remember where they get a few yards or whatever, and we kind of got him held up, and there's about 5 guys there, and you know, the message was, hey, you get a guy tied up like that, there needs to be some violent collisions that occur. And I thought they built off that.
Arizona was just tempo. They were playing flat out hurry up a lot in the second half, but you were able to get your defensive linemen out there and some substitutions that keep fresh legs out there. How valuable was that?
Very valuable, very valuable. I would extend that in terms of we're going to have to continue to do that even more. You know, I mean, I'll give those guys credit. I mean, Monte Russell, I don't know exactly. I think it's 50-some snaps. I mean, that's a lot, you know, maybe even more than that. And those interior guys played a ton too, Crumley and Pickering. So, you know, that's going to have to come with elevation of Eric Taylors of the world, and they have to show up ready to go and be assignment sound, but also play with great effort every time they're in there.
We saw compare Jaden DeLora and Jaden Daniels.
One's a little taller than the other one. You know, to be honest with you, they're great players, both of them. You know, I think DeLora maybe has a little bit more gunslinger to him at times, but I'm not saying that in a disrespectful mode to Jaden. They're both very good players, and this is second school I've had to face Daniels at. You know, 2019 he beat us on a 2-minute drill when I was at Washington State, scrambling around, making plays. We had it tied up in the pocket. He dumps it off. So I'm well aware of his ability, and both of them, I have great respect for both of them.
We saw DeCarlos Nicholson and Chris Keys get, you know, most of the snaps in the second half there. Just what did you see from those guys in that game, just coming in off the bench?
Yeah, I thought, I mean, Chris has to continue to improve, but it was good to see him get in there. And you know, the one play, I think it's the second down in overtime. No, it was the first down in overtime, you know, where they run like a 7-cut. He's in man, and he makes a nice play, you know. And then DeCarlos, I just thought DeCarlos played without being hesitant, and I was proud of him for doing that.
You guys got your hands in a lot of footballs too. I mean, a lot of PBUs and a lot of hands up in passing lanes. Has that really been kind of a point of emphasis here as of late, or?
Absolutely, but there's not a defensive coordinator in the country who can ask that question and say that they're not emphasizing that. Everybody's going to talk about that. So to me, that's a credit to our players of actually getting the job done, you know, and you know, we want to get some more 3 and outs. We want to get some more stops, but by all means, these turnovers are beneficial too. So the more balls you can disrupt, whether it be being physical, creating disruption that way, or obviously, you know, getting your hands on balls at the line of scrimmage and they go in the air, or PBUs that pop up. I mean, that's always positive for us.
Something else that's jumping out with turnovers too is that you're getting a lot of yards after turnovers, not just interceptions, but fumbles, scoops, and moving those things.
Yeah, I think anytime you can flip field position, obviously that's critical. Turnovers are huge momentum swings, just like I mentioned earlier. That's a big part of the game. But then if you're able to return it and get some yards for your offense, that's a huge benefit as well.
Kind of surprising that it's the first time in his career, but for Jet to get, you know, SEC co-defensive player of the week, just how big is it to have, you know, a veteran like that come up with some big plays in a game where, you know, it's going back and forth all the time?
Yeah, just proud of him. I mean, just proud of the work he puts in. Him and Buki, I've said it before. I mean, the work they put in that nobody sees, you know, in the film room on a day off. You know, he's out there every single day in a meeting room, and he knows the calls. He knows these things, but he's going to sit there and he's going to have his yellow notepad, and he's going to write everything down I say, and he's probably going to study on his own. You know, he's like a computer. He memorizes it, you know, so you better program him right. And just very proud of him, of how he played, and I'm glad he got, you know, honored for it.
What's interesting too, though, is about you could have nominated 3 guys. You could have had Sean, Buki, or Jet. I mean, you had 3 viable candidates, and one of your guys win, but it's not a one guy deal. It seems like as of late, there's been a lot more team tackling and contributions all up around the lineup. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's, you know, you want to, as a good defense, that's what you got to have, right? You've got to have all levels of your defense playing with high effort, high intensity, and high execution. You know, that's where, when we did have breakdowns, our intensity didn't drop off. I really did not feel that at all. Our execution did at times, you know. And so to me, the key is that everybody continues to pull their weight and elevate at all levels. And when you get your opportunity to make a play, you make a play. You don't try to do too much, but you do your job at the highest possible level of execution and effort, and good things usually happen.
How much crap did you give Jeff for getting chased down on that first interception?
Not much. You know, Buki got chased down last year. He got chased down this year. This is par for the course, you know. But no, I think I'll tell you what I actually preached was ball security. You know, because he actually fumbled the ball out of bounds. You know, so I actually was on him about that. To be quite honest with you, you know, it's funny. You know, you see a pick happen and you're watching, you're happy, but you're going, hang on the ball, hang on the ball, hang on the ball. You know, that's the next thing you think about. So that was really what I talked to him about.
What do the guys up front have to do to generate a bit more push against some of these big offensive lines in the SEC as you start conference play?
Well, I think it's a combination of push, but I also think it's a combination of compressing the pocket. You know, everybody thinks pass rush is running around people. When you do that, I mean, the other night you saw what happens sometimes, and so yeah, I mean, it all starts with get off and pad level. I mean, it's not a real, to me, it's not some crazy secret. That pass rush at its fundamental core is it's hand-to-hand combat. You know, it's imposing your will on the guy across from you. And so that starts with get off and pad level and effort, you know, and I think they're continuing to improve on that.
Thank you, Coach.